Overwhelm is the word that comes up over and over again when I look into 2025. So everything that you have experienced this year in 2024 will be amplified energetically this upcoming year. So get ready for that. Hi everyone, this is Kate. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is a space where I draw tarot cards for the collective, where I look into the collective energy and provide advice and suggestions for today's times. In today's video, I am looking into the year 2025. I have pulled some cards. There are 4 topics that keep showing up for 2025 when I check in with my guides, when I check in with my cards. 4 themes that I'll be introducing in this video, accompanied by practical advice, just personal insights, personal suggestions that will help you move into this year with grace and move through the year of 2025 with confidence, strength, and empowerment. The first theme that I would like to introduce is the theme of overwhelm. Okay, let's start with that. I know 2024 wasn't that easy. I know 2024 has been chaotic as hell for many of us. There was some wins, some losses, whatever you would define it as. This dance of polarities that's been going on throughout 2024 will continue into 2025. And this energy of overwhelm keeps coming up over and over again when I look into my cards, when I connect with my guides. And there are many reasons why we're overwhelmed. You'll see there'll be events on an economic level, political level, personal level that will just provide many, many feelings of distress. It's almost like on a collective level, we will feel an accumulation of energy internally that we don't know how to exert in a sustainable and ethical way. Everything will be amplified. So, whatever you felt this year, whatever you have experienced internally this year, will be amplified this upcoming year. So it's really important that we learn how to work with this feeling of overwhelm. With overwhelm, you don't really know how to contain the intensity, contain the energy that's within you, that's simmering, that's boiling inside of you. And this can happen in moments of excitement, in moments of distress, in moments of despair, in moments of profound joy. On a collective level, we don't know how to contain our emotions. This is not a mystery and this is not a secret. This is something that's been happening for centuries. And I think in this specific century, where all of us started to become more emotionally expressive compared to our ancestors, compared to our grandmothers and grandfathers, if you ask them, what were you feeling when you were 15 years old and you had to do this thing or you had to get married, they won't give you a clear answer when it comes to their emotions, their emotional body. They will say, I don't know exactly. I just had to do what I had to do, right? So it's only recently that people started tuning a little more into their emotion or expressing their emotions, maybe not in the most healthy or ethical way, but we have become more emotionally expressive. And because of that, we skip the step of knowing how to contain our emotions and knowing how to process our emotions in a healthy way, in a way that will give us insights on the situation that we're dealing with, the event that we're dealing with, on ourselves, what's going on internally beyond those emotions, actually, because when you're angry, there's something else that's going on. We're not only talking about one thing when we're angry. There's so much more behind the anger. And people, this is a tendency. We don't take the time to really look into what's beyond or behind the anger. We rush right into explosion, right? So from numbness of our ancestors, we have moved into a spilling, a spewing of emotions that's so unnecessary and so unhealthy. We skipped a step. And this year, what I'm sensing with 2025 is that we really need to learn how to perfect our ability to contain emotions, contain dense emotions specifically, but also contain emotions of joy and excitement in order for them to stay with us at neutral, subtle levels. We can't be constantly blissful, although arguably I think we can. But we can't be constantly exploding with all those joyous and just constant, intense, good emotions either. So, knowing how to take the bits and subtleties from these moments of joy and bliss and allow them to settle into our body so we can move through life in a joyful and blissful way, but in a more regulated way where there's no spewing, right? Throwing up the joy, the excitement, and knowing how to preserve and contain different emotions. I personally feel like this is very much connected to the topic of overwhelm that's showing up for 2025. And we will have no choice because otherwise I sense a lot of burnout in people if they are not practicing this ability to contain emotions, the ability to contain themselves internally. And contain doesn't mean restrict or numb. So it's really important that you practice that this upcoming year, knowing, okay, distinguishing what type of emotions you're feeling, how to process them internally before you can express yourself or take the right actions, depending on what type of event or person is currently affecting you and creating or rather impacting those emotions. No one really creates our emotions. The emotions just come from our own internal world. We have the choice on a very basic level what type of emotions we are experiencing in a specific moment. If that doesn't make any sense, get into meditation. You'll see how you start to notice because your reactions and your internal world becomes a little more stretched out, and you start to notice how much you are creating specific emotions, how much you are creating specific mindsets, thought loops. These are all the subtleties that affect us and create feelings of overwhelm. Let's look a little more into the word overwhelm. What does it mean for you? Because what I'm sensing here, it's not just like, oh, we're so overwhelmed by all the events that are currently happening in the world, the war, the economic crisis, the politics, the presidents, all of these external things. Yes, we're overwhelmed by that for sure. I see that coming up in 2025, but there's also another type of overwhelm that I'm sensing. First of all, those people who want to make an impact. It might be you. It's definitely me. Those people who want to make an impact in this world, those people who want to bring change into this world, you will feel like you don't know where to go, what to do, and how to make an impact. You will be overwhelmed by the sense of almost powerlessness sometimes. You will be overwhelmed by feelings of like, I don't know what is the right thing right now to do. How do I make sure my voice is heard? How do I make sure I'm not misunderstood? There'll be a lot of analyzing happening for those people who want to make an impact. But we need to realize that we have more power than we know. So let's start with the first card. Nine of Pentacles. There are two cards. First card that showed up for 2025 for the energy of the collective is the Nine of Pentacles. This is a powerful card. When I first saw this is the number 9 card, just like the year that we're about to enter is number 9. Powerful card, and yet there is that sense of she knows her power. She doesn't need external validation to feel that power. And this idea of power, I will elaborate a little more on what power actually is. It's not the dominating power that we have experienced in the masculine structures. But what I'm sensing for this upcoming year is that many, many people will be waking up to their power. So it's realizing how much they are in charge of their lives, how much they might have wasted their time on people, how much they might be stuck in the pattern of people pleasing, how much they might be stuck in a toxic connection, relationship, or friendship. People will be waking up to their power. And with that comes the idea of overwhelm that will create a cycle within individuals and on a collective level. The cycle of enthusiasm slash excitement, followed by overwhelm, followed by despair. You know, when you start a new thing and then slowly the excitement subsides. So this upcoming year, you'll keep experiencing that over and over again. And I really encourage you to not give up, okay? Don't try and say, oh, I'm doubting myself. Maybe this is not for me. Oh, I'm doubting myself. This is, there's going to be a lot of doubt to this upcoming year. People will be experiencing all types of internal resistance to change things up in their relationships, in their marriages. There'll be a lot of resistance to change things up in their lives, to move, to make the necessary moves, whether it's a physical move to a different place, different country, pursuing specific dreams and specific intentions, but try and cultivate a sense of detachment when this occurs. Remind yourself with everything that I'm sharing here that this is part of the collective energy. It's not all just yours. Yes, it's yours. Of course, there's some, deeply embedded beliefs that keep us limited, that keep us small, but they're also the big things in the collective that affect us. So remind yourself, okay, this is what's going on in the collective. I'm feeling it right now in my body. And you don't need to be a super yogi to feel that. Even if you have never cultivated a sense of inner self awareness, you will feel all of this. You will feel the overwhelm. You will go through the cycle of enthusiasm and then overwhelm and then despair, giving up, doubting. It's all part of this current of energy that will be happening in 2025. Why does this occur? Why does the cycle of enthusiasm then followed by overwhelm and despair occur? It's happening because in our society and in the collective, the underlying energy is that there's severe resistance to change. Notice that on your individual life. You know there's some things you need to change. Are you taking responsibility for it? Or are you blaming it on someone outside, something outside, the government, the institution, or whatever? You know there are things that you need to change. Just like you are avoiding the changes that you need to make. Maybe it's a difficult conversation with your spouse. Maybe it's something else. You know what I'm talking about. I'm sure you have an idea already. So this is going to be so intensely accentuated this upcoming year. And that is why it's so nerve-wracking and so difficult to step into change, to change things in our lives, to change things in the collective. There's going to be even more resistance. We'll be coming into some clashes here and there, energetic, political, economical, but we'll have to work through it, push through it. I don't like the idea of using force to push through things, but willpower, yeah, cultivating your willpower. So, practical advice, practical things you can do to work with this overwhelm, the good overwhelm, the negative overwhelm, it doesn't matter, it's all the same thing. The overwhelm will get the best of you if you don't balance your nervous system. Extremely important. I'm a Kundalini yoga teacher, so that's what I advocate. Kundalini yoga is probably the fastest and best way to work on your nervous system. Breath work is amazing. Everything that we do in Kundalini yoga works on balancing the nervous system and works on your inner caliber and your inner stamina that will help you meet the current difficult times that are laying ahead and the current challenging times and exciting times from a place of a balanced nervous system. Another thing that's coming through for this upcoming year when it comes to practical advice on how to deal with overwhelm and the cycle of excitement and then overwhelm and despair. We need to remove toxicity from our food. On a global level, for sure, but I'm talking on an individual level as well. The junk food, the alcohol, the fast food. Notice what you're eating on a daily basis, what you're consuming on a daily basis. Because what I'm sensing this upcoming year, another thing that will show up is health issues, things that will pop up out of nowhere. People becoming more sensitive to medication, people becoming more sensitive to the food that they eat, to the substances that they use, to everything. And so things will start to no longer function the way they've been functioning in our systems because of those sensitivity levels that are rising. So clean up your lifestyle. The resistance to change is that sometimes we wait until we go to the doctors and the doctor says, okay, you're going to die in a year if you don't stop smoking. And then we're like, oh, yeah, okay, he's right. I should quit. Do it now. It doesn't matter. See, it's like we're almost on a collective level. We're waiting for this change, to like push us and be like, hey, wake up. We're waiting for a partner to cheat on us to realize that, oh shit, this was actually not a good person. At least not a compatible person for me. Oh shoot, I should have set some boundaries from the very start. We don't do these things. We wait until change comes biting us in the ass, right? And that's the resistance that's so present in the collective. We need to wake up right now, moment by moment, notice, okay, how can I make sure I steer my life in such a way that will align with my intentions, align with my values, align with what I'm actually calling into my life, what I actually want, what is aligned with my soul. So don't wait. Please clean up your lifestyle, clean up your diet. Make sure you reduce inflammatory foods, that you reduce your alcohol intake. Quit if you can completely, because all of this stuff is just gonna impact you so much in the future. And I'm not just talking from research or whatever. This is energetics. This is what I'm getting as messages from my guides and the cards and everything that's in the different subtle realms. It's not just science and the doctors or whatever. We all know that some things are slowly killing us. Moving on to the second theme, which is a theme of power. Coming to your power will be essential in 2025. There is a rise of the feminine that's happening in the collective on an energetic level. And there'll be a lot of chaos in some of those patriarchal structures. I keep talking about this over and over again in all of my videos. And I will keep talking about this because that's what's going on in a collective for years now. The feminine is rising. So chaos is rising too, because that's a feminine trait. Chaos, nature, untamed, the structures that, the masculine built throughout centuries are no longer working. Things are falling apart. So we need to connect to our inner power and not seek power on the outside. Power is found within, like this Nine of Pentacles. This woman, she knows her power so well. She doesn't need the outer world to tell her how powerful she is. She doesn't need her partner. She doesn't need her parents or her family or the social media or her boss or society to tell her that she's powerful. And this is the type of power that we need to work with. It's not about dominating over someone, the masculine type of power, or rather the patriarchal, not the masculine. I think there's something different in masculine power, is the toxic patriarchal power that's about dominating over. We're tapping into the power that's more feminine. So it's connecting to your core, your internal knowing of how powerful you are and acting from that place, no matter what everyone else around you is saying. We're not looking for validation in the outer world anymore in 2025, okay? So there will be people trying to dissuade you from your choices. If you're someone who's already been working on creating change in their lives, someone who's been already working with this resistance to change that's very much prominent in the collective, things will get intensified. There'll be more resistance coming from outside, people telling you this is not a good idea, people telling you, oh, this is, you are wasting your time, people telling you, oh, you're not capable of doing this, oh, this is not how things are done. Do not listen to anyone. Connect to your power and take action, inspired action. Make sure it fully aligns with you. Another thing is discernment, right? When you make a decision, you want to make a move, discernment. Does this align with my soul, or it doesn't? Or does it feel like I'm doing this just to please someone? That's a whole other topic. This is an underlying theme when it comes to the theme of power. What are you doing in your everyday life? What are you doing it for? Who are you doing this for? Are you doing it for yourself? Are you doing it out of obligation? Very important things to contemplate. So be patient when restlessness comes up. Be patient when you feel like giving up. And again, that cycle of excitement that leads to overwhelm, giving up, and doubting. Be patient with yourself. With that, the practical advice that I'm giving you is find your community, find your people. There will be many, many breakups, friendship breakups happening this upcoming year because people will start to wake up when it comes to, oh, the people around me are limiting me. Like, the people around me don't inspire me. Look at your lives, look at the people who are around you. Your 5 closest friends. That's you. You take on their traits, their energy. Look around. Do you want to maybe cut some contracts, cut some cords with some people? And I know this is very crude, this is very direct, yeah, but we only have one life. And some people are just not there to inspire us. Some people don't bring out the best of us. So cutting some cords will be really important, and finding your community where you can bounce ideas, when you can brainstorm together, you can visualize a better future. People who are a little more positive, a little more affirmative, maybe not, toxic positive or anything like that, but people who are affirmative, people who have goals, who have ambitions, who don't allow themselves to be stopped by this resistance towards change that's so prominent in the collective. Accountability buddies, if you can find someone on the other side of the world and just have Zoom calls with them while brainstorming ideas, seeing, how you can help each other grow. Community is so important this upcoming year. That we find our people who we can grow with, who we can work towards our dreams and intentions and desires with. So important. The third theme is that of black and white mentality. Black and white mentality will have to be worked on in 2025. So the whole idea, ooh, this is bad, this is good, this needs to go. Of course, we want to all stick to our morals and our values, but we also need to understand some experiences, we need to go through them in order to end up where we want to end up. Some experiences, some perspectives will need to be shifted. We can't be constantly living this duality, like so embedded in this duality too. Like, oh, this is the bad guy, I'm the good guy. And look at my video, November and December forecast for the collective. I explained this a little more. We're carrying this energy into 2025 on the collective level. This is the advice that I'm getting. We absolutely need to work on that. It's honoring the full spectrum of life, knowing what is fact and what is not fact, and what is just our illusions, our triggers that are coming up. The whole idea with AI, AI is evil and it's destroying humanity and it's going to keep destroying humanity. Is this a fact? It's not. This is an interpretation of what we're currently experiencing. This is a judgment. Whatever is happening with AI, and I won't get into it, is leading us towards more creative thinking. It's waking us up slowly. AI will never replace us. In so many ways, it will not replace us. If it will take over, we will know how to work with it. We have a soul, we have very, very complex minds. We all have an intuition and inner guidance, and we have our guides that work with us. So trust me, AI will never be at that level wherever we are. Everything that you hear around is just, again, fear being broadcasted all over the world just so we live in that energy of like, oh my god, this is the extinction and AI will destroy and AI will replace everyone. Yeah, some jobs will be replaced for sure, but it's not gonna kill humanity and all these judgments that we're having. This is not a fact, okay? So, this is another thing, knowing how to distinguish between fact and fiction. Evil, good. No, this is what it is. This is what's happening. We try not to just what's happening and how things are developing, change, resistance to change in our collective, right? This is AI is an example. Step by step, acknowledge the ethical risks behind the AI. Acknowledge, oh yeah, this can really take us in a place that we don't want to end up as a humanity. Acknowledge those things, and then shift your perspective towards choosing the things that do empower you. Maybe AI doesn't empower you. Choose that which excites you instead of focusing on AI is taking over the world. We need to stop that. 2025, again, overwhelm is the umbrella emotion, feeling, state of being for the collective. A thought that I want to share with you that might help you in this one is life is meaningless and life is empty. Keep that slogan. Life is meaningless and life is empty. You might be like, what do you mean? If you really think about it, everything in our lives is just an interpretation. Everything that's happening in our lives is just an interpretation of how we perceive things. So the more you remind yourself, life is empty and meaningless. And we are the ones who are giving life meaning. Watch my most recent video, the Q&A, where someone asked me, what is the meaning of life? What are your beliefs? I explain it a little more in that video. But remind yourself, life is meaningless and life is empty. This is not a sinister thought. You know what I mean? You create the meanings to all that's happening. Theme number 4 for 2025 is finger pointing and responsibility. This upcoming year, we will have the most difficult time if we keep pointing fingers at everyone. The political party, the president, the mom, the dad, those who raised me, the trauma, we need to take responsibility for our lives. And that's the second card that the tarot presented to me in a way for this year is the Five of Cups. The fact that in the collective, the majority of us are not taking responsibility for our lives. The fact that we're all stuck in finger pointing keeps us in the loop of not being able to move forward. So you see, this is the really empowering card in the tarot, the Nine of Pentacles. She's got everything that she needs. She's enjoying her time. The fruits of her work are there. She's thriving. She's building. And then this card. Very different energy from this one. And the two will coexist, commingle, be intertwined in 2025. Finger pointing, blaming others, playing the victim, taking responsibility for your life. These are the two energies here. So you might want to move forward. You might be like, Kate, I don't know what you're saying about resisting change. I want change. I want to move forward. And yet there's just, I feel stuck. Nothing's moving. It's like moving through mud. It's this energy here that's coming up. So ask yourself, what is unprocessed? What are you crying over? Where is still grief seated, lodged in your body, in your consciousness, in your mind. What no longer matters that you're still attached to? With this card, I'm sensing that for some people, the majority of people, there might be something in 2021 that's a big, big, big energy leak. So think back to 2021, and I think astrologically, there's also something going on that will bring us back to 2021, some transit that started at that time, maybe. What was going on in 2021? What did you leave behind that was maybe a part of you? How can you bring it back so you're not just stuck in the past? This density is what will keep us stuck and overwhelmed by all the emotions. And again, being stuck in the loop of resisting change. It's grief. It's, poor me. I'm such a victim. This is happening to me. We need to process whatever is unprocessed. In 2025 will really hit us hard if we don't do this work. Again, the change will kick us in the butt if we don't take action towards changing things in our lives for the better. Really sitting down and looking at your life, writing, journaling. And I think with this one, I practical advice, journal about 2024. And it doesn't matter when you watch this. If you're watching this in February 2025, great. Sit down and write down what happened in 2024. Every single event, the good, the negative, whatever judgments you have about every single event. What type of person did you emerge out of it? Write everything down. Not, oh, this happened because this person was dumb and did this. No, this happened. It taught me this and that. This is how I emerged out of this experience. This is who helped. I'm grateful for this experience because it made of me this type of person. That's it. We're not blaming anyone with no finger pointing. So sit down and do that. And enter this year with that essence, taking responsibility for your life. It's the most empowering thing you can do. It's not empowering to sit there and be like, my boss is such an asshole. My coworker just gossips and she's a blah, 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 blah. All of this toxicity needs to be moved because we will feel all of this on a physical level too. The finger pointing, the complaining, we'll feel this will be just lodged in our bodies. I think 2026 will be such an intense year. I have no idea what it's going to be like, but I have a feeling that 2025 will start to already kind of give us a sense of what emotions and feelings can do to our bodies in a very tangible way, in a very obvious way. Up until now, it's kind of been like, oh, it's not scientifically proven that anger, affects your liver. You'll see. This upcoming year, things like that will start to surface a lot more. So these are the two cards. And this one cannot be fully realized. We cannot fully blossom in our power if we're still stuck in this past or the current, unprocessed. What was going on in 2021 for you? So this year feels a lot more denser than 2024, unfortunately. But we will have a lot more control. I don't like that word. Let's say control over our own actions and reactions to everything that will be showing up, to everything that will be moving towards us. And it's really important that you cultivate that sense of inner mastery. We're not mastering our outer world, we're mastering our inner world. We're mastering our minds, our emotions, and we're moving forward with intention, looking at our lives, what aligns, what doesn't align. How can I change things around? All right, dear ones, these are the messages that I got for 2025. I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave any comments below if this resonates, if you have your own insights about what's coming. I'm wishing you best of luck. Please subscribe if this is the type of videos that you really enjoy. I'm really grateful for you, and I'll see you soon again.